Teaching Tuesday. Teaching Tuesday. Teaching Tuesday. Clarity, strategy, growth. Harmony's divine design.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Teaching Tuesday. My name is Michelle Anuntua, co-owner of Harmony's Divine Design, where I work alongside the awesome T Weaver. At Harmony's Divine Design, we assist new and seasoned entrepreneurs get out of their stuck place. So we do this by offering one-on-one coaching, online classes such as this one, and products and services to help you streamline your workflow. Along with me today is my wonderful co-host Kristen and our very special guest Kay. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Kristen, and then Miss Kay, you can take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and enjoying the live today. I am looking forward to learning everything I can from you, Ms. Bowman, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you again for joining us.
All right, Kay, it's all yours.
All right, and sorry, I'm a little hoarse. Thank you, Miss Kristen. I forgot to say hello when we came on, so thank you for having me. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. And do I have the ability? I can share my screen or no?
Yes, I just put it up. Yep.
Can y'all see my screen?
Okay.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Not yet. It didn't pop up.
Hold on, it's going a little slow.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so you can see my title here, my shocker title. I want to thank you and Miss Kristen for having me today. Big thank you, because I know everybody, when they get on here, they're dropping gems. And so I just wanted to bring a little heat to the conversation and my personality, and just talk to our people. That's what I'm here for, to help our community build their business. So for those that may not know me, I am a certified business coach. I'm a certified Dow coach. And I'm also a speaker. And my 9 to 5, I'm a corporate exec. I have 20 years of experience of leadership, and I work with some of the biggest brands in the consumer good industry. If I name some of the brands, you probably know them, but for the sake of this being live, I won't say that. But you probably have their product in your house. When I stepped into the entrepreneurial space, I realized that we had the talent, we had the products, but we didn't have the structure. So that's why I created my community to help entrepreneurs to stop treating their businesses like side hustles and start running them like CEOs. And I'll just say a programming note, which I said earlier. I get 10 minutes to, as Dean say, land the plane and never leave the runway. So I'm used to giving presentations in 10 minutes. So if I'm moving too fast, just stop me. Because that means I need to make sure y'all are getting what I'm saying, but I present pretty fast. And so with that being said, I came up with this theme because I was thinking about Valentine's Day. And I know we're talking about showing love to all the people, in our family, our special loved ones, significant others. But I wanted to have a conversation about, are we showing love to our business? And because some of us say we love our business, but we're out here treating it like a side piece. And I said that because we're flirt with it when it's convenient. We're excited about it for a little while. And then when things get hard, we disappear. And then you wonder why your business isn't showing up for you consistently. And I always say, and I say this all the time in our group, you can't expect a full-time blessing with a part-time mindset. So while I wanted to speak to why entrepreneurs are stuck, and then more importantly, how we can shift into the real CEO energy. And that's one of the things I always talk about in my coaching and classes is CEO energy, because we are CEOs of our business. We're not side hustles. We're not just employees. We are the owners. We run this business. So we have to have that mindset. Some of the reasons that I feel like entrepreneurs are stuck, and let me go through my slides here. We have no structure. We react instead of leading. We make fear-based decisions, so we're always hesitating over strategy. And then inaction, I call it the stop-start cycle. So I'll go into each one of these a little bit. And I'll ask the question and let me know in the chat. How many of you wake up every morning? Because I'm guilty of this sometimes and I have to check myself. I start checking emails. I'm scrolling Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever app I want to pop open. I start responding to messages, or I just dive into work with no real plan. And if you think about it, you've already started your day behind because you have no plan, because you're reacting instead of leading. A CEO doesn't wake up wondering what they're going to do. They wake up and they execute a plan. Um, so make sure, can y'all still see my screen? Because my side just blinked out over here.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. See, that's technology. The internet gremlins don't want this message to get out, but we're going to get it out today. So some of you are treating your business like optional hobby. When you work it when you feel like it, or when you get inspired, or when it's you promote it when it's convenient. But then you wonder why the income is inconsistent. And so a lot of times you feel like you're working all the time. You're busy, busy, busy. But at the end of the day, can you really say what you actually got done? And I like to think of it in the corporate mindset. If you had a 9 to 5 job, would your boss just let you show up when you feel like it? Would they be okay with you saying, I just don't feel like working today. I'm not in the mood to work it. We know them checks are going to stop coming. That's not going to work. So why do you think you can run your business that way and expect it to pay you consistently? So I'm not trying to step on toes today. I'm keeping it real because these are things that I had to ask myself when I first started my business, because I was waking up reacting instead of leading. And I know better because I'm in the room with big major companies and I know how CEOs actually respond in those arenas. The next one is you need to set real structure. CEOs don't just work, they work with intention. They focus on what actually moves their business forward. So if we did a quick audit on revenue generating tasks, that's a word we always say in our rooms, not just brainstorming or Canva, but how much time do you actually spend doing revenue generating activities? Anybody want to jump in and tell me a quick number? Nope. Well, studies have shown that CEOs spend about 60 to 70% of their time on revenue generating activities. Most of us entrepreneurs, if we do 20 to 40, we think we've done something great that day. And we spend the rest of our time getting lost in admin work, emails, and busy tasks. So if you think about that, that means you're operating upside down. You're spending more time on things that don't really make you any money instead of actually growing your business. So a lot of you already know you need structure. You know you need to spend more time on sales and marketing, and you know you should be charging more. And that's a whole nother conversation about charging more, but we'll leave that for another day. So we have all those things that ties into your mindset, and that leads me into the second thing that keeps us stuck, and it's we're running our business off of fear. So I said that earlier that we're running our business like a side hustle or a hobby because deep down we're actually scared to take it serious. Because if we take it serious, that means we have to work, and work is going to challenge us. You say you want success, but then when it's time to raise your prices or invest in your business or make a big move, you're stuck. You hesitate, you overthink, you start talking yourself out of things. We'll talk ourselves out of a good deal quickly. What if nobody buys it? What if I fail? What if I freeze? Meanwhile, somebody with half the talent, and I think Misha says this all the time, is out there making money because they had the audacity to believe in themselves. And that's what we need, audacity to believe in ourselves. And another thing is, if you're pricing your products because you're scared people won't pay the price, I like to say you're not running a business, you're running a donation center because you're just giving away your product, your talent, your time, and you're discounting yourself. So another question I always like to say, if you don't take your business seriously, why should I as a customer take you seriously? Why would anybody else take you seriously? Because that's going to show up in how you present yourself. So successful people don't let fear, sorry y'all, calls coming in. Successful people don't let fear control their pricing, their decisions, or their next move. They set their number, they know their value, they know what they know, and they stand on business with that. And I know that's something the young kids like to say, But in this, we need to stand on what we know about ourselves. We're out here making great products. We have to believe that and present that out there when we're actually presenting our business. And that's how a CEO would think. The next thing is I call the stop start mode. And I say this to encourage anybody, you're a one good stretch of consistency away from your breakthrough. But every time you slow down, you make the process harder for yourself. And that's called stopping and start. Success isn't just about how hard you work, it's about consistency. And one of the biggest mistakes we make is we'll start it, we're strong for a few weeks, we posting, we selling, we engaging, we live, we replying, and then something happens. You get busy, you lose motivation. Sometimes life just be life, like today was for me. But suddenly you stop. And then when you start again, it feels like you're starting from scratch every time. So I always think about the train analogy. When a train is full stop, it takes an enormous amount of energy to get it moving. But once it starts going full speed, it's almost no effort to keep it going. Now just apply that to your business. Every time you disappear, every time you stop making offers, every time you let fear slow you down, you're forcing yourself to restart over. And the restarting is hard. That's where we start to fear because we feel like we're stuck and we're like, oh my God, I got to do this all over again. So I say this to anybody that needs to hear that. You don't need more talent. You don't need more followers. And you might not even necessarily need a new strategy. You just need to be consistent long enough to see the results. And I want to put this caveat in there. I'm not saying that you can't rest because rest and self-care is absolutely necessary. But the difference between CEOs and hustlers, a CEO builds a system that allows them to step away without losing momentum. So the goal is not to work 24/7. The goal is to create a business that works even when you're resting. And that's why systems and structure and strategy matter. So we always know that saying, you don't want to just hustle harder, you want to lead smarter. Um, and that's some of the things I had on this slide. I'm just talking, y'all. I think I'm gonna just go through this talking without necessarily putting up a bunch of slides because that's normally what I do. But the reality check here is actions don't match your word, inconsistent commitment, and then the part-time effort with full-time expectation. And here I went through the mistakes we make. No structure, no growth. So no clear plan, misallocated time, CEO mindset, running your business out of fear of growth, waiting for confirmation. And I don't like that it gave me this word, but I'm going to say action trumps talent. And we'll leave it right there. That's gamma right there. And then mistake number 3, you keep stopping and starting. It's a momentum killer. You restart, you have the restart struggle, and then having sustained effort. In order to grow your business, you're going to have to be consistent in whatever you do. And I like to also add the thought in there. Some people are consistent in being inconsistent. And that's where you have to reverse that. You have to consistently be consistent. So now that we've kind of talked about what's keeping us stuck, let's talk about how we can make the shift and run our business like a CEO. Again, they don't just work harder, they work smarter. So 3 shifts here are how you make your decisions, what I call the 4D method, and then the CEO daily flow. And then I'll talk through a couple of those things as well. So the first thing I would say the shift is lead with vision and grace. Stop wishing and start working. We can't keep doing drive-bys on our business and expect it to be successful. A lot of entrepreneurs say they want success, they pray for success, they visualize success. We will affirmation ourselves to success. And that's good. But when it comes time to actually do the work, we're still just hoping for the results instead of planning for them. CEOs don't hope for success. They create a structure and a plan for success. So if you wake up every day with no plan and just respond to whatever feels urgent, you're not leading your business, you're reacting to it. And I said earlier, we're busy because I found myself there sometimes, especially before I switched my mindset. I'll say I'm busy, busy, busy all day, but I haven't really been productive. So what have I actually got done to grow my business? So if you have a to-do list, and I'm a to-do list person, but it's full of random tasks like scrolling social media, and I say thinking about your business, you're not actually executing on revenue generating activities. And I'm gonna just make a real statement. You're not being productive, you're being busy, and we all know busy doesn't pay the bills. We need something that's gonna produce an income for us. So a CEO doesn't just work hard, they know exactly what they need to do every day to hit their goals. And that's why they create a structured schedule. If you don't have a structured schedule in your business, again, it's like you have a hobby. And I know some people will say they don't have time to plan out everything. So my response to that is you already have a routine. It's planned because you're already doing something. So my question to you is that routine getting you paid or is it keeping you stuck? That's just a mindset shift. And so we have to be real about how we're spending our time. I like to call it the CEO daily flow. And that's how you structure your day with intention, not just making power moves. So I call it the morning, midday, and evening or PM structure. In the morning, you do your strategy and planning. You review your sales and financials, your analytics. You want to see where your money is coming from, but you also need to know where your money is going. You're going to set daily goals and not just work on stuff. Just saying you're going to work on stuff is not a goal. You want smart goals. You want to be specific. So, because you want to start doing things that move the needle. You want to plan your content and marketing. What needs to be posted? What needs to be promoted? What can I launch today? And then you set your energy for the day. And your routine is not just about work, it's about prayer, mindset, and intention setting matters too. And I know I start my day because I'm intentional about this now. Before I pick up the phone, before I start moving around, I got to give God his time. And sometimes I may not have a whole bunch of time depending on when I woke up, but I'm going to start my day with him because when I start with him, that sets the tone. I'm starting with the one who gave me another day to be here. I'm starting with the attitude of gratitude. That sets the tone for whatever else I'm going to face for that day. So again, a CEO doesn't wake up and see what happens. They wake up with a plan. So for midday, I say, this is my money making moves. And I'll tell y'all, I'm not a morning person. So midday works for me for money making moves. I'm looking at revenue generating tasks. If I have to do, I know in my other job, sales calls, follow up, sending invoices, because talking to the customers equal money. Lead engagement. You can't just disappear, post and disappear. So I set aside a time that if I'm going to respond to comments, DMs, networking, I'm visible, but then I don't let that take over my whole day. I don't go down the rabbit hole of I've just scrolled and responded for an hour and I missed out on other stuff I need to get done. Client work and fulfillment, serving your customers so they come back. So whether that's getting that journal out, I do cups, getting that cup shipped. If you're creating a class, making sure it's delivered, whatever that product or service that you're offering, making sure you're fulfilling the obligation you have to your customer. And then again, check your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Are you on track for your goals? And then I'll flip back a step. In the planning, you have to set a goal. So you have to know what you're working toward. Check to see if you need to make any shifts in that so that you can reach your goal. Because if you're not actively selling, again, you're not running your business. Let's see. That's that one. And then the next one is going to be your evening, systems and reflection. Review your day. And a lot of times we don't take time to stop and review what we've done. We go through the day and we just move on to the next day. You got to see what worked and didn't work and adjust accordingly. Delegate and automate. And that's something I'm going to talk about later. What can AI help me with? We got Chatty. We got like the assistant of all assistants with us. Use it, but learn how to use it properly. Templates. That's such a time saver. Or other systems that can handle stuff for you. And I used to be the person to think my mindset was I had to do it all myself. But then I learned there were tools to help me so that if I set these systems in place, they can work in the background while I'm actually out there selling. And then plan for tomorrow. Set up your next work day so you're not scrambling in the morning. And then, of course, self-care and boundaries. I like to try to set a time to be done with work, depending on what we have going on in the house. It's okay to set boundaries and say, I want to be done by 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock so I can be with my family. I can woosah, I can watch a movie, because it's not all work 24/7. You still need to fill your cup up because you can't pour from an empty cup. So CEOs know that rest is productive. A burnt out CEO is going to be a broke CEO. That's how I look at that. So again, we're going to stop saying we grinding 24/7. And that's another thing I like to talk about in my coaching and training. We got to be careful how we speak to ourselves, because our words create our world. It's okay to say I'm grinding and hustling, but I'd rather say I'm productive and making money, because that's pushing me to the goals that I actually want to attain. And to do that, I have to do that from structured, and intentional work. The next one is going to be what I call the 4D method. Work smarter, not harder. Do it, delegate it, delay it, or delete it. That's a tongue twister, but I'm going to get it out today. Some of us are exhausted because we're working all day and we really haven't spent the time on our money-making activities. So then you have to have a real conversation with yourself. If it's not making money, should it be automated, delegated, or deleted? Because not everything that keeps you busy is actually helping you to grow. Some of us, and I was guilty of this when I first started, honey, I would tweak a graphic, a Canva item, a post 15 million times. And it's like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm getting it ready. I'm getting it perfect. But was that really helping me to sell anything? And I'm learning from this community that I've been in, just put it out there and keep it moving. You're going to learn from your mistakes. But if I'm stuck tweaking it 15 times, nobody's going to see it, which means nobody's going to see me, which means nobody is going to know my product exists. So what I came up with is the 4D method. So do it. Do it applies to revenue generating tasks. That's the money making work. If it makes you money, it needs to move to the top of your list. Period. No questions asked. Like, that's A1, number one priority. So that's making offers. For me, that would be in my other job, pitching offers, promoting products and services, following up with leads and clients, creating paid products. Free things are great, but we're at the end of the day, we're still here to make money because we want that financial freedom to take care of our family. So we need to be creating some paid products and launching new offers. And then we need to make sure we are sending our invoices and tracking our revenue. Again, you can't hope for sales. You have to intentionally create them. The next one is going to be delegate, automate, outsource, or use systems. And I know most of the time in business, people say when you think delegate, we're thinking we need a team. But all of us can't afford a whole team. Sometimes it's just us and our spouse, or us and a friend, or us and a parent. Like, we don't have this whole big team. But if we think about it, delegating isn't just about hiring help. It's just removing yourself from tasks that can be handled by a system, a tool, or a process. So it's how you look at it. Again, I say we have the number one assistant here, ChatGPT, and they've come out with so many other AI systems that we can use it to write our emails, our content, even courses in minutes. So we are freeing up time to do the stuff that makes us money. Canva and templates. We don't have to start from scratch. We can use done for you templates, flip it, and put our tone, our voice, our brand colors on it to make sure it meets our audience needs and move forward. Email sequences. You don't have to literally send all the emails yourself. I use MailChimp. There's ConvertKit. I think there's MailerLite and a whole bunch of others. But you can automate your sequences so your lead follow-up. You do that sequence once, send it out with everything it needs to go with, and then reuse it and tweak it for your next offer. So you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to physically send every email yourself. You use a system that you can delegate to do that. If you can afford it to do freelancers, if we don't have any friends that want to bless us with a service, you can do Fiverr or Upwork. Hire somebody for tasks that don't drain your time. And then the one thing I love, and a couple people on here know about it, is Trello. It's free. It's an organizational system, and I use it to organize my tasks so that I can stop trying to figure out what I need to do next. So the goal of delegation isn't to make your to-do list longer, it's to make your workload lighter. And then the next one is delay it. Schedule it, because every task doesn't have to be done today. And sometimes in the world of the hustle and grinding, we think, I got to get it done today. I got to get it done today. But we haven't set a priority list of, I can do this today because this is going to move my business, and I can do this tomorrow because then I can dedicate more time to it and have more time to research it. So we don't want to get overwhelmed with trying to do everything at once. Everything is not urgent. If it won't impact your revenue today, schedule it for later. And that's something you can do with the Trello. Put it on a to-do list and schedule it a reminder to pop up and say, hey, I need to look at this today. So some things that can be delayed, planning for a future launch. If you get an idea, inspiration, something, it's like, oh, I need to work on that. Put that however you organize and put a date on it. I don't have to go down the rabbit hole on this today, but I know I need to look at this tomorrow in the future. Content calendars keeps you on schedule. I know I can do my content and batch it using one of the systems, but then I know I have it done, and then I can prepare for the next week on another day. Social media engagement beyond outreach. And that's what I say, sometimes we get down the rabbit hole as we stay on there an hour. Like, okay, I'm gonna set aside 15, 20 minutes today, and then tomorrow I'll come back in. This was something I had to get out of my head, trying to make my website perfect and branding tweaks. You put that in your structure and as part of your business plan, but you set aside a time for that, schedule that. We don't have to tweak everything. If it's working for you now, set aside a time to update it when you can devote your full attention to it and you're not scattered because you're trying to do too many things at one time. And this is one that I think is really important. Learning new tools and software. We have to invest in ourselves. We have to learn, but we can't chase every shiny object that comes at us because there's so much in technology. So you need to set aside a time, if it's an hour a week or 2 hours, that you just focus on learning, honing your craft, sitting in classes like this. So we don't get lost in the rabbit hole. And I know some of us can admit, because I did this the other day, I went down the Mid-Journey rabbit hole. I was just producing. And guess what those pictures gonna say on my computer? So was that revenue making task? No. So I could have scheduled that for another time when I was sitting watching a basketball game to do that, to get some stuff. But I could have just delayed that instead of doing what I did that night. So I have to check myself sometimes. But it was fun when you learn from Miss Regina and all that kind of stuff. You want to start playing with it. But schedule time for that so you don't get lost in the rabbit holes. So again, I say if it's not making money today, put it on a schedule. And in my favorite words, keep it moving. And then the last thing, delete it. And I say if it's busy work with no return on your investment, which is your time, your systems, then you need to let it go. So you have to be honest with yourself and say, why am I still doing this if it's not helping me make money? I talked about tweaking the graphics, watching a bunch of free content. At some point, we need to implement what we are learning. So it's okay to watch and learn, but we need to put this stuff into practice so that we can build our business. And this is one I had to learn as I started applying my marketing principles. And y'all, I always check myself because I know better. But one of the things I've learned, I can do all this for somebody else's brand. But when it comes to mine, I was like super scared. It's like, this is my baby. I want it to be perfect. And I'm looking at what these brands are doing. And y'all know some stuff has failed. And if I would love to say one brand, but they may come check me. So I'm not going to say that. But it's like, put it out there. Learn from your mistakes. But one thing I learned, I was posting random content with no strategy. How is that making me any money? But if I had taken the time and worked my systems and put it in priority, I would have learned my audience and what they respond to and not just be posting randomly. I will be posting to actually sell something. So I'm educating them, letting them know me, and then I'm offering the product. I was just posting stuff to be posted. It looked cute. That's what I thought that day. So that's stuff I had to check myself on. So I stopped that. And if you look at my page, you get the message of who I am and what my brand is by what I post. And then the last one, and I say this because I have this on a board somewhere by me. I'm not going to show y'all where. Overthinking instead of doing. I'm an analyst. That is really what my job is at the end of the day. I overthink everything. I'm paid to overthink. But when it comes to my business, that overthinking would have me stifled. I wouldn't move and make decisions. And that was part of the fear that I have. I had to stop overthinking. I just had to do it because I said something on another live or another video that I did. Fear has caused more business to fail than actually trying to do the business because you never started. So that came from overthinking and fear. And y'all, we got to get out of that because we as a community have so much to offer. The world needs us. They need our products, they need our services, they need our talent. And as my friend Kelly, they need our gifts. So we got to stop overthinking this thing and actually do what we know how to do. Stand on business on who we are and who God made us to be. This next section is CEO level decisions, faith over fear, talking about what I just said. Well, you could have a perfect strategy, the best systems, be the most organized, but none of that matter if fear stops you from making the right moves. And some of us are stuck not because we don't know what to do. We've got confirmation from God and everybody else to like, you know what you're supposed to do, but we just decide not to do it. And if you don't hear anything else from me today, know that every time you hesitate, you're delaying your next level where God wants to take you for your next assignment. And our next level has so many blessings for us and those attached to us. And I think I posted the other day in the group, somebody needs what we have to offer. So every time we hesitate, we're delaying our next level and theirs, their breakthrough. And that's how we need to think about our business. Our business is a gift from God to us and to the people that need us. So again, we have to let go of fear. It's about faith. And I said this the other day too. It's about faith in it until you lead it. We're not doing that faking it till we make it anymore because that's what the world says. We're operating in a spirit of faith. So we'll say we trust God's plan for our life, but when it's time to take a big leap in our business, we're stuck. We wait for that confirmation. We want God to come down and sit next to us and be like, girl, I need you to do X, Y, Z. Here's everything. Here's all the steps from start to finish. That's not how God works. He gave you the vision and you know it. You need to trust that. But he's not going to force you to walk in it. We have a choice every single day to walk in the vision that God gave us. And the scripture says faith without works is dead. That means faith requires movement. You can't pray for success and then sit on your hand and wait for a sign. And this is something that God checked me today. My obedience is the sign. And we need to take that into our spirit. And he's not going to give us the whole staircase. He just needs you to take the first step. And the first step is a decision. And I know in my business, when I started, everything started with a faith move. Me here today started with a faith move. I was just making t-shirts because I'm in the sports world, that we're a sports family. I was making t-shirts for teams, for the referees. That was it. I had no idea God was going to shift me to this position today. But it started with a faith move and believing in myself. So I decided to apply the wisdom, the knowledge, and the strategy that he had literally laid in my lap from the experience I got with my real job, my 9 to 5. I shouldn't say my real job, my 9 to 5. And I decided to execute it. So if you want to move differently, you have to think differently. Again, that goes back to your mindset. That's making decisions from a place of faith, wisdom, and strategy, not fear. And so this is how I filter my decisions. I call it my CEO decision formula. The first thing I do, I'll go with faith, wisdom, and strategy. Have I prayed over it and sought wisdom? So before I go to Google, I go to God. I'm not on social media. I'm not, I have a group of friends that I consider my counsel. But before I even step to them, I'm asking God because I know if I hesitate and go anywhere else first, I'm going to overthink it and I'm going to hesitate. I'm going to freeze. I'm going to stop. If I don't have clarity with something, I'll wait and listen. But God knows how to talk to me because we talk every day. I know what he's already been telling me. I just got to obey and move. And then he's going to show me the next step. So I'll say if you're thinking about launching a new offer, raising your prices, or making a shift in your business, take it to God first and then seek your wise counsel. And I said that the other day, we need counsel. We need a group of people that's going to hold us accountable, that's going to challenge us to be the best versions of ourselves. So you want to have people who have both businesses and spiritual wisdom. So you want to follow people who are being successful in what you're trying to do as well. And then if I know after I've done all of that and fear is the only thing holding me back, I know it's time for me to move. It's time to get busy. The next thing is, does it move my business forward? Not all opportunities are good opportunities. Like they say, all money is not good money. But you have to know what you should do and what you shouldn't do. If you're thinking about investing in a course or getting help or launching a new product, the question shouldn't be, does this sound good? It should be, does it align with my bigger business goals? Will this make my business stronger, more profitable, and more sustainable in the long run? If the answer is yes, then it's worth considering. If the answer is no, then y'all know that's just a distraction. And I think, again, how we talk to ourselves about our business is key. We can't be generic. We have to go beneath the surface and ask ourselves real questions about, how does this help my business? How does this make me more financially stable? And how does this decision impact the people that are connected to me? The next one is, will I regret doing that? And I call this wise regret versus emotional guilt. There's a difference because I feel like healthy regret comes from missing an opportunity God aligned for us. Emotional guilt is fear of missing out and comparing our lives to other people. We need to stay in our own lane and walk the journey that God gave us. So if you think about some past opportunities you ignored, not out of wisdom, but out of fear, like an event you didn't attend, you skipped doing that Black Friday sale that you know you could have made some extra money, or you didn't launch that lead magnet. That's things that could have affected your business in a positive way. Was that a missed opportunity, or did it just feel like one? And these are personal questions you have to ask yourself. If you're looking back and you know this is something that will impact your future, take the leap. But if it's something from guilt or pressure or from what others doing, that's when you got to take a pause and reevaluate and take it back to God and your wise counsel. And then the last thing is, will it stretch me? And I hear people say that, but I need my stretch to be in alignment with God's purpose for my life and my business. We all know growth is uncomfortable. There's going to be some discomfort in God's plan, but we have to be wise enough to open our eyes to see that sometimes discomfort is a warning that no, you don't need to do this. And sometimes discomfort is a setup for your next level. And we have to take that in internally and talk to ourselves and God about, what is this level of discomfort? And I'll admit I got some discomfort going on right now, but I know for a fact this is a growth period because God is setting me up for the next level. I just have to trust him with that. So I'll go back to, are you afraid to raise your prices? My big thing with going live is, or are you afraid to hire help? The fear is discomfort that stretches you, but in a way that helps you step into your role as your God-given the God-given role as a leader. So if you're uncomfortable about investing something or money that you don't have, and that's another class, because sometimes we get out here doing stuff we know we don't have no business, or if it's a sign that it's a bad deal, or you rush into something that you haven't prayed over, friends, that's not growth, that's misalignment. And misalignment will cost you more than hesitation ever will. So again, I'm always saying, if you feel uncomfortable, if you're not sure if you're going to regret it, take a pause, reevaluate, seek God so that your decision is aligned with his purpose for your life. And another thing I like to always say, we always say we're trying to wait till we get ready. We got to stay ready to get ready. And to stay ready, you have to move with wisdom, faith, and strategy alignment. Y'all feeling me so far? I know I'm close to the time because I was late. Okay.
Oh, you good. You got a whole sermon going. Keep on going.
I'm kind of just flowing here today because my timing got messed up. So one of the things that helps us with this shift in our mindset and how we deal with our business, and I'll talk about this in my coaching, is the power of systems. And you've heard me say that throughout today. It's execution over motivation. Because sometimes, y'all, motivation will fail us. But consistency, action, and structure can keep us going. And I hope that landed with somebody, because some days we're not going to feel like getting up and doing this job. But we know if we have these systems in place, they can keep the job running, the business going, while we're trying to get our mind right. And again, I'm only speaking from my own experience. So structure sustain. Mindset alone doesn't sustain success. Structure does. Build systems. All high-level entrepreneurs. I sit in a room with CEOs and presidents of companies. They have systems in place to keep these Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies going. And momentum maintenance. Systems allow you to step away without losing momentum. Anybody want to jump in? Anybody got any questions before I move on? I keep going. Y'all good? Good? Okay. Okay. A well-structured system keeps you focused on execution instead of overwhelm. And I know that's one of the feelings that a lot of us have in our business. We're just overwhelmed because everything is coming at us because we have to make the decision. And a lot of our businesses are our lifelines for our family. So we know we got people counting on us. If you have a system, it removes the guesswork, the wasted time, and the constant need to figure things out. So I'm going to say this because I keep talking on the CEO thing. CEOs don't just work hard, they work intentionally. I say that word all the time. They keep their tasks organized so that nothing falls through the cracks. They ensure consistency so they don't lose momentum. And also, this is so key in our business, creating accountability so they can track progress and adjust when needed. That goes back to us just working all day, but we have no clue what we actually got done. So one of the things that I like to use for my, and this is a screenshot, I was going to open it up, but I know we're short on time, is Trello. And that's one of the classes that I am going to be teaching for our group. And we have a couple of people on here who've shared this Trello experience with me. I'm a list person. My analytical mind says I need to see stuff that I can check off, but I need to be in a manner that keeps me accountable and keeps me moving. So Trello is a visual project management tool. It helps you organize, track, and streamline your business all in one place. And I know I used to be the queen of sticky notes and journals, but then I had to go find what I was looking for because it wasn't organized. So I use this program to have everything in one central, what I call my business HQ. Let's see, let me get to. And on this board, I have several boards, but I have one just for all my business functions, my statement of operations. Like if something happened to me today, somebody can go to this board and continue to run my business. I have one for planning and organization for my projects, my goals, my weekly tasks. I have one for content and marketing. I know what I'm posting each day. I know the music I use. I know the graphics. I know the posts. I know the hashtag, because that keeps me organized. That way, if I want to go back and tweak something, I have a data bank to go to. I can change one or two things and throw it out there. I have one for all of my products. I still do t-shirts, and I'm coaching and speaking. I have every product that I've ever created, one for my t-shirt line, one for the products that I'm creating for what I'm doing today. I have all my clients there. I have my revenue tracking there. And there's some things that's on the advanced side where you can automate flows. And Trello keeps me from having to manually update everything so I don't waste time repeating steps. Again, that's the purpose of having a system in place. So Trello makes it easy for me to see what's important, what's next, and what I need to get done. So I know some of y'all feel like they got sticky notes and stuff. Y'all may not want to admit it, but it's okay. I'm here to help you organize your business. And some of us may say, I could just use a notebook. I don't need a system. I'll just keep everything in my head. But again, I've been that person that spent 30 minutes looking for a note. I missed the deadline because I forgot about something last minute. I almost didn't make it today because of another deadline that popped up on me that wasn't my deadline, was work deadline, but that's fine. Or I had a great business idea and then I completely forgot about it a week later. I have a board, or part of my list in my board is just brain dumps. It may be one or two words or an idea for me to come back to. And of course, we got Chatty now. We can run a list in Chatty, have it make it organized so that we can just copy and paste it to Trello, and then we can come back to it. So this is how I use Trello to keep myself going, to keep my business going. Like I said, we have a lot going on. Basketball season is here full effect, so that keeps me going. I still work a 9 to 5, and I'm in this awesome community with you guys. I'm still learning from you guys. When y'all are dropping tips, y'all don't think I'm over here taking notes, making notes of y'all classes, which ones I'm gonna attend, what gems y'all drop, what resources y'all drop. If you're giving a GPT or a PDF, I have a board dedicated to my DCT community. So if I miss the class and I need the replay, I got the link. I got the resources that y'all have. I have a copy of the email that you sent the resources to us. So I know what date that is. That way I can just go back and grab what I need, still be productive, and I'm still using my time. Because again, time is money. So today what I did as a freebie, and I'll drop the link for that in a second, I created the CEO Productivity Playbook. And this just goes over the things that we talk about. I gave you some prompts in there and some note pages to help you get your business organized. But it's more of making you sit down, take 15, 20 minutes to structure or ask yourself, where do I need structure? Where am I falling short? Because if we don't have those one-on-one conversations with ourselves, and I know we like to talk to Chatty, and that's good, but I'm going to always say God first, then I can Google and Chatty later. So me and God can have some real conversation about, God, where am I missing this? You gave me this gift. How can I make it a blessing, not only to my family, but to those that you have placed here that need my gift? So all of that is in that productivity playbook, and I'll get that link to you in just a second, Michelle, so we can drop it for the group. And then I have a 14-day challenge. And some of you guys already know that. That's kind of the spinoff of Are You Treating Your Business Like a Side Piece? It's called Love Your Business. And it's all over email, so it's not taking time, but it's structured for you to take 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, go through the prompts. I give you a devotion, I give you a scripture, I give you prompts, and then I give you a principle to apply it to being a CEO. With that, you also get an ebook, a planner, and you get, it's one more thing in there. It's, I think she has the link for that too. I'm talking fast though. But it's, you get 4 resources with that, and it's only $14 because it was for Valentine's, 14 days. So it gives you some business checklists as well in there. That was the other thing, some action steps. So you don't have to stay stuck. That's all. We don't want you to stay stuck. We want you to keep moving. And then the last thing to talk about is my Trello class. If you're interested, how to learn Trello, it's super easy and it's free, y'all. We don't need another bill. I have the paid version because of some of the things I use it for my 9 to 5, but you can do everything you need to do in Trello for free. And what I've put together is a class. It's going to be some recorded videos in there. And then I'm going to do a live Q&A for anybody who has questions. I'm going to give you a pre-built template so you don't have to start from scratch. And I'm offering an early bird price if you want to jump into that. That's going to drop on March the 8th. And so you'll have the classes to go through. You'll have the templates. You'll have a quick start guide. And then you'll get to sit with me on, I believe it's the 19th. I think I did it on a Wednesday to not conflict with Kelly's class. I'll stay there as long as you need me to. Basketball will be over for us at that point. So I can stay on and answer any questions that you have about Trello and anything else. So I really want to see all of us be successful. I'm excited to be a coach in the community. I love being here. I love working with you guys. And I just want to see us grow and be successful. And God has gifted me the opportunity to be in a position to take things, like I literally see these people playbooks. So I'm learning every day, and I can take this information and share with y'all so we can grow and we can be the bomb.com that we know we are. So that's all I got, my short version. I tried to land the plane quickly in spite of the hiccups today.
Well, ma'am, I'm
Yes,
I'm I'm just going through this because, like, yes, 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 whole powerful presentation. So I am actually going to sign off on Facebook land. So if you guys want to grab the link and come on in the Zoom, you can. But let me do that. And then if you guys can definitely stay behind if you have any questions, ask away. But let me go ahead and stop this stream real quick. And I thank you guys for watching on Facebook. Again, if you want to join the Zoom, the link is on Harmony's Divine Design art page, as well as AI Fusion. You can go ahead and click that and come on over, because we're going to be chatting with Miss Kay. So let me go ahead and do that. All right.
And I'm going to send you that link on Messenger for the freebie. Or you want me to just put it in the chat?
You can go ahead and put it in the chat.
All right.
All right. I actually had to get off Facebook because I'm about to go mobile myself. But with all the information that you provided, Kay, phenomenal. I mean, I was scribbling notes like nobody business, and I got the recording, but I'm still scribbling notes. But one of the things that really definitely stood out, and it's something that I have been saying as well, is in this creative space, we really do have to create with intention. And when we create with intention, it literally funnels through the rest of our business. So a lot of times I get the question, well, how do companies know how to plan for quarters that aren't even here yet? Well, the same events, the same holidays happen every year. And the message of your company is something that you want to convey all year round. So plan your materials, your contents, your products around those times, those events, and especially any big launches, so that way, when it comes to producing, you're not playing catch up. One thing that I love to say in regards to content planning is I love thanking my past self for setting my present self up for success, which means by taking that minute out, maybe 2-3 days ago to post my content, now 3 days later, I'm working on a revenue, like Kay said, a revenue generating project, and my content's constantly going out. So I'm not playing that catch up. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off the mic, and I'm gonna let y'all talk to Kay, because I'm phenomenal, and I thank you.
So one thing I want to say, and I'm speaking on like real terms, like we in my industry, we're always 12 to 16 weeks out. So in July, I'm planning candy for for Christmas. And then by September, I'm doing Valentine's Day. Every month we have a theme. Crazy themes or whatever. Every single month we have a theme. There's a calendar that goes out that said we have frozen food month. We have spring cleaning for April. I mean, we have summer for June. Every month there's a theme. We literally are 12 to 16 weeks out. So I know that's kind of hard to do when you're first starting your business, but if you're planning, like you said, you know what holidays you want to hit. None of us should ever miss Black Friday, Christmas, New Year. But there's so much in between that we can tap into. Of course, we want to hit Black History Month, but one of the things I'm teaching with my class is productivity. And then it's going to say spring into April, because that's spring cleaning. Notice what you're going to see out in the product world for April. We've already planned that. It's already done. We have systems, we use SharePoint, we have Teams, we actually have systems that we can go in for project management on our company database, so everybody can see the moving pieces. That's another thing you can do with Trello if you get the paid version, project management. So if you have a team, everybody can see what everybody else is doing. You can get your assignments, who's going to do this, when it needs to be done. So I'm just trying to bring some of the things that I know works over there, and I guess it's working because I'm still getting a paycheck, so I'm gonna say it's working. So I'm trying to bring it to our community so we can start thinking as a business.
Hello. Teaching Tuesday.